If you've ever felt like you make stuff, but you don't really know what your style is, what your distinct voice is, maybe your work is all over the place, maybe you're doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that and nothing's really sticking, you don't really find that there's a unifying factor to what it is that you do, I'm going to be talking about how to curate and discover your unique style, your distinct voice, so that you can make more meaningful work. I've been doing this for about 15 years now professionally, and the truth is I still am on this journey just like you. I do feel like this is a journey that you lean into and that you keep going on until you discover the gold that is hidden within each one of us. So let's go. In my early 20s, I was very challenged and I felt really under pressure to be unique and to create work that was different, that wasn't like anything else out there. During that stage of my life, there was a lot of pressure coming from outside, like from my family, this unspoken thing that once you enter the workforce, you've now got to prove yourself, you've now got to become a success, and money and material possessions will follow if you make the right decision. But there was one book that kind of gave me the permission to just let it all go and let all of those societal pressures and expectations go. Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. 10 things nobody told you about being creative. It changed my life. It changed the way I thought about creativity in total. In a nutshell, what it speaks about is there is no original work. Everything has already been done before. Any new work that is being made right now, it's a mashup of things that have come before. The faster you can realize that everything is a remix, the faster you can get to doing your most important work, like giving yourself the permission to get over this pressure that you need to be entirely unique. You need to be entirely identifiable, especially in the beginning. So what Austin Kleon says is you need to discover your creative lineage. Like, where do you come from? What are the things that you are most drawn to in the art that you're trying to create? And how can you lean into that more? How can you curate a bank of inspiration where you're taking a little bit from this guy and you're taking a little bit from this guy and you're being inspired by film, music, various forms of visual art. It can be anything really, books, narratives, stories, fiction, non-fiction, you name it, and you just put all of that into your bank of inspirations, and these are things that you're constantly looking towards. You want to come up with something that is basically an artist family tree, and how this artist family tree works is you start with your key inspiration and you then begin to climb up that person's artistic family tree. You look at them and then you study all the work that they've made. You look at it in total, and what I like to do is on Spotify especially is I'll go and I'll find one of my inspirations and I'll listen to the entire catalog. Now, at the moment, I'm checking out Herbie Hancock, who's my favorite pianist. What I love about Herbie Hancock is he is a perfect example of somebody who remixed everything. He started out as a child prodigy classical pianist and then later on branched out into jazz, becoming a pioneer in the funk, jazz funk, and even hip-hop music cultures. And this is why he's my favorite. It's not just that he's a virtuoso pianist, it's that he absorbed bits and pieces of the culture and then brought it into his own style and sound. So what I'm doing right now is I'm listening to the Herbie Hancock catalog, going back to his very first album, which I believe was in 1962. And then what I do is I listen to it 3 times back to back while doing other things. It's not like it's not completely concentrated listening. I'll be doing other things, and by the 3rd listen, I've already internalized a lot of, this is that song. This is the interesting thing that he does in this song. And then I'll continue like that. And I've started to do that with all of my favorite artists. So I've got like 5 to 10 of my favorite piano players, 5 to 10 of my favorite songwriters, 10 of my favorite movies, 10 of my favorite authors, and then I just start to climb up that creative family tree. You take one of those artists, check out what they've been doing, and then go and look at what they were inspired by, check out what they were doing. You go as far back as you possibly can, and eventually you'll have a list, a big family tree of your favorite artist. You move on to the next artist, and then what starts to happen is it starts to form this neural network in your brain where all of these different influences are then speaking to each other like a spider web. Like, you can go in all of these different directions. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get into that master's mind. You do this in the name of making a lot of things, because what happens is making one thing is cool, making 2 things is better, but making 10 things is even better. And you just keep multiplying, making more things. You'll eventually discover what you like about the stuff that you've been making, what works and what doesn't work. You'll start to see the commonalities between your work. Obviously, the commonality is you, but there are certain things that you feel inclined to that often always show up in the stuff that you're trying to do. So you'll start to see the patterns and the commonalities based on the output, how many pieces of work you've shipped, the volume in which you're creating things now. I'm a big fan of small units of works that you can just pile and stack upon each other. The sobering thing for me was that the permission was given to make something that is entirely you by looking at the greats, yes, but leaning into this whole idea that there is nobody like you, and you are the unifying factor. The fact that you are part of all of this work is the thing that kind of brings it all together, even if your style is a little bit wonky, a little bit diverse, a little bit sort of avant-garde. The fact that you can bring them all together is because you are that unique individual. You are the niche, so to speak. 10 years ago, I was in this rock band called Brother and Brother. We had this very diverse style. We started out doing piano rock, but then what happened was I started to inject a lot of rapping, a lot of funk and stuff into the music. Our manager at the time said that the thing that really unifies this band is the sound of Josh's voice. He felt like it was unmistakable. And that is true. Like, I don't have a very generic voice. My voice is very specific, it's very iconic to my sound. It wasn't that I was trying to absorb a particular tonal quality. It's just the physiology of my skull, my face, the way that I'm made up. I've got a certain tone to my voice, a very slappy type of sound, and very warm as well. So there are certain things that are just so unique to you that nobody can really copy it. Even in this age of crazy technological advancements, if we lean into the thing that makes you completely human and makes you completely who you are, that's going to come through strongly in your art. But you won't know that until you've got a body of work. And so what we're trying to do here is, in order to find your voice, first, identify your favorites, learn, listen to them, do what they do, copy what they do, then begin to make your own iterations of that. The further and further you go up the volume chain, the less derivative. You don't have to be a great straight out of the gate. You don't have to be a master. You don't have to be anything that you're not right now. But there is a process that you've got to follow, and you've got to lean into that process hard. I hope that this video encourages you. I hope you feel pumped to get out there and make some more art and begin to curate a bank of influences, because it's just that important. Your art is your fruit. Share it. Fruit vendor out.